What's up, everybody? Wildman here. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite franchises of all time, Silent Hill. I wish I could get some editing stuff so I could put stuff together, but I don't have the tech for that yet. I'm saving up for it because I want to do some of these over, but do them right. But like I said, we're going to be talking about Silent Hill, specifically Silent, Silent Hill 3. My favorite. I have a bit of a personal history, a bit of history with this game. The franchise, we're going to talk about the franchise as a whole, but we're going to focus some on Silent Hill 3. This franchise really launched like Resident Evil started but these are really polar opposites in terms of what kind of horror they focus on. Resident Evil focused on jump scares and the physical horror, where Silent Hill focused more on supernatural and psychological horror. It's awesome. If you're into that kind of thing. I don't know. Because really, okay, so depending on what kind of Silent Hill fan you are, you'll either say the first 4 games are the only good ones, or the first 3 games. The fan base splits on number 4. And after 4, it's all garbage with a few hidden gems here and there. But I have played most of them. The one I really regret playing is Silent Hill Shattered Memories. That game was just awful. You can't die in the only time you can die in that whole game is during the chase sequences, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, the whole branding of that whole game was like it's a reimagining of the first game. No, it's just garbage. So that game is split up into basically three segments: exploration, chase sequences, and psychiatry sequences. I'm not kidding. That's all that is to that game. There's no depth, nothing. The only thing about it was is like through the psychiatry sequences, it'll profile the player based on how they play the game, thus changing some things. It was garbage. I think I would have had more fun with it if I was actually playing with a friend, but it's not one of those things that no, don't waste your time. Here's the thing. I kind of liked number 5, which okay, number 5 would have been Homecoming. I actually kind of liked that one. I'm saving the good ones for later. I actually kind of liked number 5. It was trying too hard to be the movie Silent Hill and Hostel, which yeah. So, but here's the thing. While it was a horrible game, Silent Hill Homecoming Homecoming was not a good game. It was never a good game, and the fans knew when you get into the sequel territory of you stop numbering your sequels and just giving them subtitles. You've entered a bad area, because that's the point when the fans go like, okay, this isn't going to be very good now, is it? And especially when how did listening to the people making this game, since it was a third-party developer from America, how did Konami not pull the switch when they realized when you listen to those interviews, they didn't know what they were doing, and they were changing everything that made those games great to begin with. No wonder it bombed. Silent Hill Downpour had potential. It's actually probably one of the better modern Silent Hill games, in my opinion. The two biggest gripes I have with that game, and anyone that knows me, you put this feature into a game, it's an automatic point deduction towards it for me. Breakable objects. I don't care how well you do it, it's not a good feature. But really, like, the big issue for me with that game was because the story was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. But really, the big issue with that whole game were the enemies. Those enemies just did not feel like they belonged in a Silent Hill game. Most of them were too humanoid. They just didn't fit. A few of them were kind of creative, but few and far between. Really, though, what was that enemy called? Where like it's a mannequin or a doll, and you have to fight destroy the doll because the ghost of it is like the one attacking you or something. It was weird. That was really the only creative enemy in the game. And chase sequences returned, but they were done better in that game than Shattered Memories. I never played number 4. Never played number 4. I played number 1, which was that's really the one game that started it all but gets the least love. And it's very sad because can you imagine them putting that game in there, like remaking that whole game with modern graphics and using the original soundtracks and all that? That game would be phenomenal. It would be a hit all over again. Because you try playing that game, like the soundtrack alone will just screw with your head. Some of those soundtracks are just so freaky. Like they made one of the soundtracks they used in that game, I forget for what level, but they made using playing backwards the sound of a dental drill they played the sound of a dental drill backwards, and that was the soundtrack for that area. That was freaky and very unsettling. And that's just the tip. It gets freakier from there. But Silent Hill 2 is probably the first game. Well, it wasn't the first game, but it was definitely the game that perfected the art of everything you do has a consequence in the game and ultimately affects the ending. To the point, how many times you look at the photograph of your wife in the inventory will have an effect on the ending. And it's really cool. I don't remember all the endings to that game, but I do know that the water ending is widely considered to be the actual ending, and it wasn't a happy ending. It wasn't bad. It was best described as a bittersweet ending. And I think that's because with Silent Hill, not every ending needs to be happy, but it's nice to have the option for the game. But I think with Silent Hill 2, the bittersweet ending, which is the water ending, fits it the best. Because that's really that whole game in a nutshell is bittersweet. Story, like that whole thing, it could be summed up with bittersweet. And I don't know how long this video is going to be, and I don't know how long I'm going to rant. But Silent Hill 3 is probably not only is it my most favorite horror game of all time, it's the only one I've never been able to finish to this day for many reasons. But okay, one, I don't have a system to actually play it on anymore. I've showed you I have the physical copy, but I don't have a system that will play it. So, and I'm not a PC gamer by very much either. So emulations are kind of out for me. But when that game came out, 2002, 2003. So I was roughly 12 or 13, and I don't even remember how far I got into it, but I've tried. How do I say it? Like, you're alone, you're playing it in the dark, and you're hearing all those you can only see this far in front of you in the whole game, which is part of the point if anyone doesn't know that. And you're hearing all these weird creakings and groans and like gurgles and like, is that something? Is that what's about to pop out at me? And nothing happens, and then until it does, and it's what the soundtrack and like even more than the soundtrack in that game, it was the sounds in that game. Again, it like the monsters the noises they made in that game is what really freaked me out, especially when you didn't know what it was and couldn't see it yet. That freaked me out. Again, I was like 12 or 13. That that may have been one of the first horror games I ever played, now that I think about it. Because up until then, I was Nintendo and Zelda and Mario, so vast departure, right? So that kind of stuff. GoldenEye. So I was up until that point, I was a very huge Nintendo fan, so it was a very big departure. Boy, was I surprised. So I know enough about the story, and I okay. So growing up, from being a '90s kid, growing up, like while I enjoyed uh the hot chicks, the main characters that were chicks. I mostly tried to stick to the guys because I'm a guy. I want to see if I want to see people fighting, I'm going to watch two dudes fight and duke it out. Who's the better? You know, that kind of thing. But and to me, that's when there aren't. To me, in my opinion, I'm getting a little off track here, but that makes them the heroines that much more special because they were more iconic because the market wasn't so over flooded per se. Y'all get that? So when at first when I realized, oh, I'm playing as a girl, again, I'm I'm at that age roughly still. So when I hear that, but as I played the game, I didn't care. I enjoyed the game until I got freaked out and couldn't play it. So that's where I'm coming from. You want that? Go get it. Dogs and gummy bears never fails. So, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna put this out there. Cause okay, hey, Aoki Zeus just bared his fangs at one of the others. So don't get between him and a don't get between him and a gummy bear, huh? Wow. No, okay. So what I was going to say was, who wants to see Leon? No. Who would love to see James Sutherland played by Vic Mignogna in a legit Silent Hill movie? I don't know if he would do that, or if I don't think he would do that. But picturing that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Again, because I even posed the question: who would you rather have? Who would you prefer play Leon S. Kennedy, Vic Mignogna or Chris Evans? Because I could see either. So it's just one of those things where, like, when those pop in my head, I'm like, what would that be like? Again, because Vic Mignogna is a Christian, as am I. So I don't know if he would be comfortable playing a role in that kind of movie or story. So I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see, it would be interesting to see his input on that, actually. Pyramid Head is, I don't know why they ruined Pyramid Head the way they did, because he's not really meant to exist outside of Silent Hill 2. And because basically, in a nutshell, with broad strokes, and that's been happening to me a lot today. Broad strokes in a nutshell, Pyramid Head is the physical manifestation of James Sutherland, the main character's desire and guilt and desire to be punished because of. And I don't really want to give that away in case anyone who sees this hasn't played the game, but it's a 20-plus-year-old game anyway, so basically it ties it heavily into the story and what happens in that story as to why that is. But once James forgives himself of what he's done, Pyramid Head ceases to exist. I'm not kidding, by the way. That it literally like they make that very literal. So there's no real reason for Pyramid Head to exist outside of Silent Hill 2. The only real reason for it is revenue and money, money, money. Look what we put in this game. Ha ha ha. You know, that kind of thing. But I can kind of think of a canon-ish reason for that. Okay, so think about it. Walk with me on this a little bit. Okay. So we all know that the town, like, okay, in the first and third Silent Hill, the town is, let me get my thoughts together. Take the Pyramid Head theory, put it right here for a second, and I'll get back to it because this has to be explained first. I understand, because I know someone's going to see this, but excuse me, you don't understand the point of Silent Hill. Yeah, I do. I understand that the events of Silent Hill 1 are because the Alessa is trying to prevent there's these sigils, and Dahlia's trying to get them taken down because she's saying these are preventing, like, these are the cause of what's going on, when it's Alessa's spirit or whatever that putting them up, trying to prevent what's going to happen, but because of her powers and memories and all that, things are being distorted and twisted, for instance, in the school, the enemies are like little midget monsters, but it's very easy to tell, these are kids, but to Alessa, they were monsters because they bullied her. Or, for instance, the dogs that you run into in the town. They are very much monstrous looking, so to a little girl, a dog barking and chasing her would be monstrous, okay? It's that kind of stuff. I get that. And that kind of plays in a little bit with Silent Hill 3, but Silent Hill 2 is a kind of a gray area or standalone. Looking at the Silent Hill franchise, it could very easily be an anthology movie, an anthology series, which is a good idea, by the way. It's an anthology series. The only thing connecting them is the supernatural aspect of the town. So, again, this theory is pertaining to Silent Hill 2. Okay, the evil that the order, the order of the Silent Hill franchise has done to the town has resonated with the town, perverted the town, given it a sentience and it seeks those who needs to be punished and gives them chances at redemption. Whether they achieve that redemption or not is up to them, but it gives them small chances. But it seeks out those that need to be punished and draws them to them. It even states this a little bit, that they were drawn to the town in Silent Hill 2. So that's part of the theory. Okay. Pyramid Head, like I said, is a very physical manifestation of James' guilt. Okay. Going with the water ending, where, if you don't know, James drives his car into a lake and kills himself that way. Okay. Going with that ending, you could look at it as the town saying, you're not getting off that easy. And then distorts and transforms James into a new Pyramid Head. And it's like, and to torment the others who come into the town. Like, for example, I don't know if anyone remembers the Silent Hill arcade shooter. That could, like that. That's like where James is still is new to being Pyramid Head. He's like, and all that. And then, like, in Silent Hill, Homecoming, he decides, okay, I'm supposed to torment you, but I'm not going to pursue you like I was. I'll do my job, but I'm not going to relish in it. That kind of thing. That's a theory. It's never proven. It's a fan theory, but it can make some sense. Okay. So I think it's a cool theory. It's just a theory. Again, no. No, everyone does that shit. I love it. But it's one of those things like you can kind of thread it together a little bit. It doesn't hold water, but you can see the logic behind it. So that kind of stuff. I was talking to a friend, I think it was yesterday, about this. Growing up in a Christian home, being a Christian, and growing up with the real deal, the legit stuff, and playing the Silent Hill games, I didn't make the connections of, oh, like it's a perversion of Christianity, is what the beliefs of the cult are perversions of Christianity. And my buddy was like, dude, that's what all cults are. I was like, yeah, but I didn't know it as a kid. I didn't know anything about cults. I didn't realize, that's what this game is doing. Like, that's what the villains of this game are doing. I didn't make those connections because I've read the Bible. I read the Bible. It's very easy to see that the God of this cult is not the God of the Bible. But it's very easy to make connections, which I didn't make as a kid growing up playing them. I don't know if you would call that childhood naivety, or just knowing, or just being able to see legit and fake, if that makes sense. Because whether you believe it or not, that when you grow up with something and you okay, for example, if you make dollar bills for a living, or you print dollar bills for a living you print currency for a living, and you see a counterfeit one, you're able to tell because you know what the real one looks like. That's basically the point I was getting just now. Okay, so that it's one of those things that it never clicked until like a few days ago, and I was talking to my friend about it. He's like, that's what all cults are." I'm like, "Well, I didn't know." So I found that very interesting. That was an interesting conversation too, because I will be the first to say I am by no means a Silent Hill expert, but of the two, but me and my friend, I am, because like he knows a little bit about Silent Hill, but most of his information comes from me, and then he fact checks it, and I hear about it when he does. He's like, actually. Because he's done that on some of these videos. He's like, actually, you got this wrong because it's actually this is what happened, or you forgot about this. I love him. It's fun because I owned up to that. I'm like, yeah, I did forget about that. So I love you, buddy. The worst Silent Hill game I think is Shattered Memories. Yeah. Uh, I think some from what I have seen and dabbled with in Silent Hill 4, it's a very, while it's different, it's a very unique game, and it's very what's the right word? It's different, but it's still like it felt okay. Here's a good way. Watching that, like, it felt very much of like, okay, the evil is spreading. Okay, because Silent Hill Homecoming, the evil is spreading to these neighboring towns. That's essentially kind of started with Silent Hill 4. I know it's it's because of this. It's more focused with this serial killer performing this ritual. I know, but the serial killer has ties to Silent Hill. You can make the argument, okay, it started there, but like I'm just saying, because there are aspects of Silent Hill 4 that work, or that are different, and while different, they still kind of work. Or you can see what they were going with in this area. While that may have not worked very well there, this worked well here. It was just, I think it was, people don't like change, and especially to something that has worked one way so far, and they love it that way. And when you try to change it a little bit, they don't like it. I think that's part of what that was, because it's a good game. Again, I haven't played it, but I have seen, well, I have watched some playthroughs. I have researched it a little bit. It's a good game. Homecoming, not so much. I mean, it was too Western. It was too Western. They missed the whole point of that of the game completely. So, oh gosh, I just realized. This is why I'm only a C student. I just realized I should do reviews on the Silent Hill 2 game, on the Silent Hill movies. Oh gosh, I want to do that now. I should do that now. I have the first one. I don't have the second one, which okay. Everyone's gonna hate me for this, and I can defend myself weakly, but I have a reasons. I will always have a reason. I actually like the second one more than the first. And I know that's blasphemy essentially. But hear me out, guys. Okay, everyone has their pet peeves. A pet peeve of mine is when they change the gender of a main character for no reason. What do you mean? Okay, I hate it, like as good as atmospheric, faithful as is a good way to put it, as the first one was to the games. Everyone knows that it wasn't the mother that you played as in the first game, it was the father. So why did they change it for no reason? The only, like, I could be mistaking on the timeline here, but I think the third game was coming out, or like the third game in the movie I think came out around the same time. I very well could be mistaken. I very well could be wrong. But I think that had something to do with it. Like, just like, hey, like the director. I know the director said no. I had an explanation for this that didn't match up, but it's bullcrap. It's bullcrap. There's a reason it's called. There's a reason the saying "Daddy's little girl" exists, or "Mama's boy" exists. There's a reason for that. Because when fathers have daughters, it gets their heart. Okay, so like you like got parents treat the. I'm not getting into all that, but so they changed the gender of the main character in the movie from the game, right? That's my biggest. That was a big peeve for me, because there was no reason to do it. Okay, they didn't do that in the second movie, which is based off the third game. They didn't do that. I applaud them for that. They got that right. That's really all they got right. But points for getting the gender of the main character right, guys. That's always been a pet peeve for me, and I don't know why. But that has always been. And it goes for either way. An example of this. Does anyone remember the original RoboCop? That movie would not have happened if not for the female partner cop that discovers RoboCop's her dead partner, and goes on a journey to help him rediscover his humanity. You know what happened to her? She became the black partner, the black cop partner that was hardly even in the movie, to the point you could cut him out and he wouldn't lose anything. Way to go for a lovable, for a strong, independent woman character from the 80s that you destroyed to non-existence in the remake a few years ago. Way to go, guys. That's like, this pet peeve of mine goes in both directions. So I don't try to play me, guys. It's just very more prevalent in the other. What do I mean by that? It occurs more in the other. It occurs more like they replace this character's gender to a chick. That happens more often than the reverse. As I have just given you an example of the reverse. So, there's that. I'm very seriously thinking about reviewing the Silent Hill movies now. I need to do more game vlogs and anime vlogs and Bible talk. But like, this is probably like the second game vlog that I've done, and it's just more general. But it takes a lot of time, so, and that's without actual footage. So here's a little here's some projects, some videos that I want to do. I want to review Shiki, which is a horror anime, probably my favorite horror anime. And because I can get into that. I might be able to work on it this week. It will take a while, but I can work on it this week. I want to do my favorite anime of all time, Outlaw Star. Yeah, Outlaw Stars. Anyway, people who know me know I'm obsessed with Outlaw Star. So, go get it, guys. I want to do I want to do I want to do a review of Ant-Man and Wasp, because it's like maybe one of maybe three Marvel movies I haven't seen. I've seen all the rest. The ones I haven't seen are Ant-Man and Wasp, Civil War, Captain Marvel. Those are the ones I haven't seen. My buddy has loaned me his copy of Ant-Man and Wasp. I'm working on that. And then I want to ask y'all a question, because this will be an endeavor. My most viewed video is my thoughts was from my Hercules video. Okay, you watch that, you know I'm a huge fan of Hercules, the character, not Dwayne Johnson's character. Anyway, I have the whole complete series collection of the 90s Hercules show. I have the whole 6 seasons. I'm not kidding. I will show you this eventually. The box is that thick. 6 seasons, each season spreading across 5 discs. Not to mention the 5 movie collection that takes place before the series. I remember this as a kid. I have the whole collection now. Do y'all want me to talk about that, review that? Because that will be an endeavor. That will be an endeavor. So, yay or nay? Because that will be a huge endeavor. And that's just time-wise. Watching it and taking notes and all that. I have no way to do footage. I have tried to capture some footage with this like to see what I could do with the disc for an Outlaw Star disc, it wouldn't even register that it was in. That's what I'm dealing with, folks. It's an old laptop. I'm saving up for new stuff. Bear with me, and I apologize. So, you guys, I love y'all. Just hit me up with some comments. Let me know what y'all think about what I've talked about. Questions that I've asked, like who would you like to see as Leon and James Sutherland? You know, let me know what y'all think. Love you guys. Bye bye.